I want to talk about like relationships, and I see like a lot of men like they really want a relationship really badly, but they only imagine like 10% of it, and they don't realize like the other 90% is like a lot of work and a lot of difficulty and a lot of stress. And 10% is what you think of. 10% is you going on dates. 10% is you going on vacations with her, or you loving her, or you sleeping with her. 10% is that, right? And I think we just keep imagining that one photo of like us in the grass and like we're running with each other. And that's what people think of when they think of a relationship. But you know, 9 times out of 10, a relationship is just, that's like a small portion of it. There's this whole other portion that we forget about, which is why we get in a relationship and we're just so miserable. Especially since we rushed into it and we weren't living holy and we got with someone that we really truly don't even know if we really like. But because we were so desperate to get out of our loneliness, we thought this girl could bring us peace when it's never going to give you peace. It's only going to make your life more stressful. It's only going to make your life more miserable because you didn't have your shit together in the first place. And now you want someone to come in to the life where you didn't have anything together. So now you're like, man, I hate myself. I hate my life. I hate my girlfriend. I hate what's going on right now. And I'm speaking from experience. I've been there. I've been at the point where you are in a relationship and I literally hated my life. I literally lost myself because, you know, we just weren't compatible. We didn't understand each other. We didn't understand things. And this was a long relationship. I truly loved the girl. I will say that. But it was 3 years of, you know, me trying to get my things together in my own life, trying to figure out things for business, trying to figure things out, but also trying to manage having a girlfriend who's also needy. And it's very hard to do all 3 things when you're young because you don't even know how to really manage yourself yet. And you're trying to manage your first start to adulthood at the same time trying to manage how to be cordial with a woman, right? And I think those are 2 separate tasks that you kind of have to figure out, where you kind of, as men, have to get your life together first before you even allow a woman to come into that life. Because if you don't even have peace with yourself, she's just going to make that worse. She's just going to make that worse. And I'll tell you guys a story. Like when I was living with my girl, I remember I was so depressed and I just was so miserable. I literally hated myself. I remember I would come home from work and just sit in the driveway for 2 hours because I did not want to go inside because I knew she was in there. I remember those times. Like I remember how miserable it was. And they don't talk about this part. Like I didn't care what she was doing. It was a point I didn't even care if she cheated. I wanted her to cheat so I'd have a reason for her to break up with me. And that sounds messed up, but this is where I was, and I'm just being honest. And this is why I say that's not her fault, right? I just was not ready to be in a committed relationship with a woman. I was not ready to get there. I had things I had to get together, and I felt like she was holding me back. You know, and this is why you have to be careful. You know, it's times where it would just, because she's emotional, I would just sit there and be arguing with her all night. And when you know you're about to walk into an environment and it's just about to be arguments all night, you literally hate your life because you never ever truly get peace, because you never ever get time to yourself. You never could just be by yourself. It's never quiet. It's a problem with everything you do. And you're trying your absolute best. And on top of that, when you're broke and you have a girl who wants to do things, it's like, bro, I can't even do what I need to do for you. One of the worst feelings in the world is having a girl who really loves you while you're broke. Who like having the perfect girl when you have no money. It's like, I can't even do anything for this girl. And I hate myself for it because she's like the perfect woman and I have no funds to make sure she's good. It's like you end up becoming insecure in yourself as a man because you're like, man, how did I even get this girl to like me this much when I am not even prepared for her? And you end up resenting her for that, which is why it's so important to make sure that you actually have your stuff together before you bring her in your life. Make sure you have funds before you bring her in your life. Because being broke with a great girlfriend is a combination for a disaster in your head. It's like you can't fathom why she likes you. It doesn't make any sense. It's like you could have another dude right now who has way more money, but for some reason you're in my life. And it's making me mad at myself, which is making me mad at you. And I'm taking out all my frustrations on you. I've been there. And that's very honest, right? Right? But even as I say all these things about this relationship that I was in, even as I say that it was miserable, even as I say I hated myself, I don't regret it at all, because it's what I needed in order for me to become better myself as a man. If I didn't have the pain of that breakup, the pain of that heartbreak, the pain of knowing she moved on quicker than I would like her to, the pain of that, I would have never, ever became strong. I would have never tried to make more money. I would have never tried to better my life. Like the guy you're looking at now is not the guy that she was with. And truthfully, I wish she got this guy, but this guy would have never came to be if she didn't go with that guy. That little event with her where I was not prepared for her and she left me because of it had to happen in order for me to become the better version of myself. And that's just the canon event in any man's life. And I always can tell a man who's been through heartbreak by how stoic and how numb he is to his emotions. Because once you go through that first emotional roller coaster of a heartbreak, your emotions don't really activate like they used to. Like you don't get really emotional about things because you went through one of the most pivotal points when it comes to emotions that you could possibly go through. You also don't react to things that are difficult the same way. When you see something's difficult, you actually work harder. You actually are more disciplined. You actually are more focused. Because when you went through that, you knew you had to go through it all by yourself and nobody was coming to save you. And you're like, I don't want this feeling to happen again. So you change. And the dude that you used to be before you had that first heartbreak is a dude you'll never ever know again. You don't even know how to channel that guy anymore, because you're just a different dude after a heartbreak. You're just a different guy. Right? So after we broke up, I remember when we were together, I was drinking, smoking, I was watching porn, I was doing all these things and I was with her. And as soon as we broke up, I never did it again. Never picked it up, said, I'm never doing this again. I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to figure out my life. I'm going to get my stuff together because I'm never allowing that situation to happen to me again. Now, what a lot of men do is when they have those really bad heartbreaks or something tragic happens in their life, they go deeper down the rabbit hole of self-destruction. And then you see men in their 30s and 40s bitter at all women. When you shouldn't be bitter at women, you just took the wrong route to your first heartbreak. When you should have took the route of bettering yourself and making yourself a better version of yourself. So the next time you get in a relationship, you're who you're supposed to be. Right? And I was cutting I was going to the gym. I was getting up early in the morning. I was doing everything I had to do. I was looking for jobs, getting better jobs, saving my money. I was doing everything I had to do, and I was still not seeing any progression in my external life. But internally, I felt good. When you can get up in the morning, go to the gym, eat healthy, be positive, not let anybody see it in your face while broke. That is the first step to success. When you can do everything you're supposed to do, you don't fall into cheap dopamine habits while broke. That's the first step. That's the first thing you had to do. That's the first step to someone who's going to be massively successful. You just have to be patient. Because you're not allowing your external circumstances to kill your spirit. You're not allowing it. There was a point in time, there's points and times in my life where I was going through the worst points of my life and people did not know. They're like, man, this guy's life must be going great. Whole time, my life is going trash and everything's going down the drain, but you can't see it in my face because I wasn't going to allow you to. I was going to allow anything external to dictate how I operated on a daily basis. I wasn't going to stop the good habits. I wasn't going to stop the I wasn't going to stop doing things that I knew I had control of, which were those good discipline habits, because I had something go wrong in my personal life. Times I've lost a job, times I've got fired, times things have went super wrong in my life, and I was like, I'm still gonna get up early in the morning and go to the gym. I'm still gonna do my deep work. I'm still gonna post. I'm still gonna eat healthy. I'm still, even though I don't have the money, I'm gonna still figure out a way to eat healthy when I don't have the funds and I can easily just get some cheap fast food. I was still doing it every single day. I didn't care. I was like, I'm not falling backwards. I don't care if I had $0 in my account or if I have 100 million. I'm not falling backwards. I will let the actions dictate who I am rather than the monetary value in my account.